Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Mayo live stream catch up with Mayo. That's me. It's Saturday, August 1st. It's August 1st already. My beloved summer is going faster and faster. Only have a little bit of time left for summer. Now it's August, a little bit of September, and before you know it, we're back to fall and winter. But anyway, we're not there yet. I can still enjoy the summer. So, hello, people that are here already. And hello to the people that are watching that haven't commented. Hello to Robbie. What's going on, Robbie? And hello, Harold. And hello, Ramoga. And we're starting out. And, okay. And we are Bernard, I think. Right? I'm trying to remember. It's not my birthday. I don't know whose birthday you're celebrating. I think you keep doing that. Hello, Elvin. Hello, Starman. Bryn. What's going on? And David, hello to you. What's going on? All right, everybody. So, leaving it mostly to you because I don't necessarily have much to talk about today. Still got some nice weather here this summer. This is July just finished, and July was a great month. June was good weather. July was good weather. Yeah, had some rain here and there. A little rain has to fall. But overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good summer so far, weather-wise. And Penny Lane, what's going on, Penny Lane? Did I ever do a Venus and Mars ranking on FabGab? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Don't know. What's going on, Bullets? I must admit, your latest video made me happy. I'm mostly a music ape these days and leave most of the memorabilia besides some to other collectors. So basically, you're a music guy lately. So I guess you're talking about the latest video being the Mikey Arugula Collectors Show and Tell Bonanza. Is that the one? Hello, Gary. And hello to Nigel. Did you enjoy Mikey's Beatles party? Sure, I did. I was there. And it's my newest video. Check it out after this is over if you haven't already. It's a new video I put up. It's 33 minutes long. It's a little lengthy, but it's worth it. It's fun and funny. It's fun and funny, I think. Crazy Mikey. Hi. Exactly. Hello, 50 Thunderer. Can't wait to get that Rubber Soul box set. Well, it's not a long wait now. It's only 2 months now. Exactly. Okay, when is the Help box set coming out? RWR, do you want to tell me what analysis you're referring to? Hello, Stuart. Right, Stuart. That's what I'm going to call you. Let me know. Yeah, all that memorabilia is crazy. Very cool to look at, but some I do not need. But I'm happy to watch others enjoy it. I loved Anthony's appearance. Yeah, Anthony it's a funny ending. If you watch the Mikey Arugula video, it's a funny ending with Anthony. And yeah, it was perfect ending. And I thought it was a perfect way to end it. As far as all that memorabilia, like I said, I've learned, I really am done. I'm done. I'm too old to collect that much. I don't have enough years left to even enjoy it. But I'm still going to be buying things. You'll still see me buy things every now and then. I'm not totally done with collecting, but it'll never be to the extent of those people. The only way I would ever collect to that extent is A, if I won the lottery and I had like, $100 million. And B, if I had a big mansion to put everything in. And even then, you can't buy back your years. You know what I mean? Sure, I can enjoy it for 10, 15, 20 years more, whatever it is, but hopefully more like 30 years. But It's just, it's different when you start later. Too bad Anthony was late to the party. Yeah, yep, he was funny. Absolutely. And hi, George. What's going on with you, it's Mr. George? Uh, are there any record store videos coming? Well, lately I've got a little more footage. The story again. I haven't been going to the record store as much. However, in the last several months or the last year, I haven't been going into my record store that much to hang out. Lately, I've been into it again, and I've been going there pretty regularly. Not every day. I don't go every day, but I go more regularly. And there's still not much to record. There's not much going on in there for a video. But anytime I find something, anything, I record it. I still say I'm afraid those days of the first, whatever it is, the first 130 videos or so, whatever I have, I think I'm up to 130 something record store videos. The best days, it looks like, are in the past because, um, Don, the lovable homeless guy, I still, last time I heard, we keep trying to find out, he is in some kind of rehabilitation center or a hospital. He's, as far as I know, he's not deathly ill or anything, and as far as I know, he doesn't take drugs or drink. He's not detoxing, but he's been in there for a few months now, and I guess they're taking care of him. Maybe he'll emerge one day, come back. I don't know. Hasn't been in the neighborhood. I would like to try to hazard a guess, but I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't announce it out there to people. Even if I did, no. No, I haven't listened to Dungeon Lane in a while. I listened to it, whatever it was, I don't know, 15 times or whatever I listened to, and put it on the shelf for a while. That's what we do with most albums. I know there are other people out there that'll say, see, the album's not that good. You listen to it and you filed it away forever. It's like there's so many things to do, so many things to listen to, so many movies to watch, music to hear, books to read, things to collect, videos to watch, videos to make, lots of stuff. Has the vinyl bug bitten me again? Not that bad. Occasionally, for a while, I thought I was getting into vinyl LPs again, records, 12-inch records, but not really. But I do. I have been buying a lot of 45s lately. 45s I've always loved. I mean, I'm going to keep collecting 45s. Have fun looking through those and collecting the 45s. Okay, believe it or not, even though Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter is a Hammer movie, and I like Hammer movies, I'm not familiar with it, believe it or not. I don't think I've ever seen the whole movie. So I can't tell you. All I could tell you is Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter gets a good reputation among fans. But I just never seen it. What's my favorite non-record collectible? Well, probably my Famous Monsters of Filmland magazines, I guess. But there's all kinds of things. I love that Ringo Starr Spyglass, I call it, from Ringo's Rotogravure. Those are very rare that Atlantic Records gave away in promotion for the Rotogravure album in 1976. You could see it in my thumbnail when I'm looking through it, I'm holding it up and looking through it. At least I think that's mine, too. I don't know. Somebody remade that for me once. I asked somebody to enhance it, and he wound up, I think he put like a phony spyglass in it. So technically, it used to be the real prop I was using in it. Now I think somebody put a fake one in. Okay, hello, Scott. Anyone else, Joe, or anyone else that knows the answer? I've purchased every Beatle box set I've known of. However, I've never come across the Sgt. Pepper Deluxe vinyl set. Was this not released on vinyl? I don't have it on vinyl, and I'm even thinking of not getting Rubber Soul on vinyl. I don't think I have a lot of these. I'm talking about big box sets anyway. I'm wondering if there was a deluxe vinyl set of Pepper in 2017. I'm thinking not, maybe. I know there was an LP set or a two LP set, like a 2-record set. But somebody has to help us with that. Hi, James Farley. What's going on with you? I was thinking about the Rubber Soul box. I would like to see a live EP of Blu-ray of Paul and George's live version of If I Needed Someone. Paul's Drive My Car, Ringo's What Goes On. Well, we all have lots of things, you know. Okay, ran out of bullets. Thank you for making an appearance. It's always fun. Hopefully on Black Friday Record Store Day, David's wishes will be realized. Although I don't think so, actually. I doubt it. I'm glad for the major collectors that Rubber Soul is coming out, but it has aggravated me over time that some fans talk as if the Beatles didn't exist until Rubber Soul came out. Yeah, that bothers me a little bit too. You know, Rubber Soul has never been among my very favorite Beatle albums. I love it. I love it just as I love all the Beatles albums, but it's never been my personal favorite. And I love the early Beatles, you know, and I love With the Beatles and A Hard Day's Night. With the Beatles and A Hard Day's Night, you know, for example. You're correct. New records get played to death, then you take a break. After a while, you discover it and love it all over again. That's right. Unless you're a person in life that doesn't have a whole bunch of interests and a whole bunch of different music to listen to or things to watch and other things to occupy your time, then you might listen to it over and over and nothing else. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you, Starman. Sergeant Pepper 2017 edition only has one LP and two LP versions. So that's what I thought. What do you say there? Help me there, little girl. Elementary Penguin. I will be happy to own the mono version album of Rubber Soul. The one they released years ago was too expensive. Well, there you go. Thank you again, Gary. Sergeant Pepper 2017, a 2 LP set with the new mix on one LP and alternates on the other. There was no LP box, right? Okay, Penny Lane says the video you put up of Meet the Beatles Collectors, the Beatles book of Beatlebelia that Pat Graham put out, looks amazing. So much memorabilia by the Beatles in the book. You know, Terry Crane has a great book about NEMS products, and now Pat Graham and his partner Phil, they have a new book out. It's either coming out any day now or it's out already, I think. And there's a link in there. Anybody wants to get that book, watch the video. It's in the video. There's the link in there where you could get that book, and Pat Graham shows the book, and it's pretty amazing. And it not only shows you all the collectibles you could ever dream of that exist, but also I love and I appreciate that there's a section at the end which shows you fake items and the real items and how to tell whether it's a fake or a real one. And that's one of the things also that puts me off Beatles collecting. I mean, I don't have the money now because you know, I'm older and I'm not working and I'm collecting Social Security and I'm collecting a pension. And I just don't have that much extra stuff, but still I find a way to spend. You know that. You know, I always will. But, I mean, not enough to go crazy like that again. Which one was the worst and the best box set so far, according to me? For you, the best was the White Album, the worst Revolver. Well, for me, you know, there's two things I go on. One of them is what kind of mix is it? Did I like the new mix? And the other one is how many extra features. Well, put it this way. The best new mix I like, I think, is probably Sgt. Pepper. The worst new mix for me, I gotta say, the White Album, because some of the songs on the White Album are well mixed, but some of them are miserable. You know, I don't like what they did to some of the songs. What Giles did to some of the songs. Like Helter Skelter, I don't like that version on there, and there's just certain songs that I don't care for. But as far as extras go, I think the White Album is one of the best as far as extras. I think Sgt. Pepper and the White Album have good bonus stuff on there, you know. So I'm trying to think of them all right now. So it's hard to say. They claim their 2026 mixes. Are they really the 2023 mixes and just saying it? It's 2026. I've heard that no, they are new mixes. That's what I hear by people in the know. I'm hearing that the new songs on the new Rubber Soul will be brand new 2026 mixes. That they'll be different, possibly from the ones we had in 2023, improved or whatever. As time goes by, I'm more and more positive that the Beatles box sets releases will outlive me. Could be. You never know. Do you think there will ever be box sets of the early stuff, or was it spent on the anthology? I don't go for that because, as you can see, even with the Rubber Soul set, there and some other sets too, there's some things that were on anthology that were repeated when they did the individual, when they did Revolver, or when they did when they're doing that Rubber Soul, they're putting some things on. Um, I don't think that I think there will be early box sets. I don't know whether they're going to pair the albums together, whether they're going to put out, Please Please Me and With the Beatles in one box, or whether they're going to put Hard Day's Night and Beatles for Sale in another box. I don't know. But I really believe they're going to do it. And they have to do it. I mean, come on, you know? This is the Beatles we're talking about. There are a lot of less iconic and popular and world-changing, you know, history-creating bands and artists, single artists out there that already have all their albums on box set. Why the hell wouldn't the Beatles? It makes no sense. So yeah, I don't think it matters that they're spent on anthology. Just like Anthology 4 gave us In My Life Take One, and now Rubber Soul's going to repeat it. It should repeat it. The stuff should be brought over, in my opinion. Okay, Let It Be was my least favorite Giles mix. Good point. I forgot. Somehow that slipped my mind. I think that might have been one of my least favorites, too. And say hello to Joe F. here. I hate what they did to Strawberry Fields and Real Love remixes on the Blue album. The Red and the Blue albums, generally speaking, are my favorite mixes that Giles did. There are exceptions. I hate what happened to She Loves You. She Loves You is my favorite Beatles song, and I wish they could do something to make that sound phenomenal. Sounds like crap. It's a shame. But other than that, I'm really happy with the Red album mix 2023. And the Blue album mix I'm very happy with, too, with the exception of the end of I Am the Walrus. I didn't like what happened to the end of I Am the Walrus. I didn't like the mix of Old Brown Shoe on the 2023 Blue. And there probably were some other things along the way, So I remember liking Magical Mystery Tour a lot on the Blue. There's actually a guitar that nobody's heard before that was brought up, or was very silent and faint originally in '67. Jingles along there. I love it. I picked up on that the first time I heard that mix. They might do all the previous albums in one release. Well, who knows? At this point, I'll just be happy if they do them, period, New box sets should be combined from now on. Well, what are you going to put with Help, though? Even if you do a 63 set that has the first two albums, and then a 64 set that has A Hard Day's Night and Beatles for Sale, well, you put Help out alone, I guess, I honestly think the next set should, again, this is my opinion. We all have opinions. My opinion would be for the next set to be Help. Just a standalone Help, just like Rubber Soul and Revolver, Help. Then after that, if they want to go back and do 1963, the two albums, 1964, the two albums, okay. That's just my opinion. I don't know what they would do, What I really hate is they re-release songs on a box set that already were on anthologies, so they cheat. No, see, it's not really cheat. It depends how you look at it. You could say, well, a couple of things. You could say, well, I already got that stuff. They gave me that stuff on anthology already, right? But if you think about it, Not everybody bought the anthology discs. Not everybody collects everything. So some people out there only collect the regular album box sets. They don't collect anthologies. The other thing is, what about having them together in a uniform way? You know what I mean? If there are songs from the help sessions, like If You've Got Trouble, for example, or That Means a Lot or something, and they were already featured on Anthology 2, back in the 90s, I still want them to be brought over for the help big box. Why not? Because they fit. I personally like to have everything together, everything from that year, that album, all together, instead of being scattered around on different anthologies. I'd rather them all be on the concise. That's my opinion. With Rubber Soul coming out early on October 2nd, could London Town and Back to the Egg box sets come out before Christmas? Oh, God. If only. If only. I'll tell you one thing. I'd be more excited about London Town and Back to the Egg than I would Rubber Soul. That's just me because, I love the Beatles, that, rock and roll music poster here. I love the Beatles. But, I love the solo Beatles too. And for me, as much as I love the Beatles as a group, that's a little bit more played out than some of the solo stuff. Wouldn't be that popular, but my preference would be Beatles for Sale next. Well, yeah, that wouldn't be popular. I got to agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they did Help next, then backtracked and did in order. Please. Well, Hard Day's Night's important too. In a way, I think I didn't think of that. They should have done a Hard Day's Night already, but I don't know. They might leave Beatles for Sale for last. I don't know. Or maybe they'll put them together. I've never been a big fan of that. I don't like that idea. I like each album because this is the Beatles again. We're talking about the Beatles. We're talking about the biggest phenomenon in music ever, right? So they deserve, every album should be treated as its own entity and its own special thing. But I'm really not gonna throw up if they decide to put a 63 box and a 64 box and maybe add in all the singles from past masters and stuff, the B-sides and everything. That would be okay with me. So I'll take it either way. And this is another thing. I do think Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine should be combined. I definitely agree with that, and I've always said that. I definitely think they could make a kick-ass set by having the songs from Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine and doing a 67 and 68, complete with, B-side singles, things like that. I think that's a great idea. There is some decent live stuff that they could clean up and put on these deluxe sets. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. I got a throat thing going here. Hold on. All righty. I hope that's better. The live stuff, I just hope that eventually they're going to do a live collection. Eventually they're going to take the cream of the crop, find the best live stuff they have, audio-wise and video-wise, and put it out. That's what I'd like to see. And they could use the MAL technology that they have today to separate things and fix things and enhance things, takes out too much noise. Everything they have to do, clean it up. And I'd like to see it a live set, a live box or something, or several live boxes. But I don't really personally, I don't like when they put that on with the regular songs. I actually didn't like in the Anthology 1 and 2, for example, where they took some live tracks and put them on there. Just my personal preference, because I do like things, and a 4D man is watching, he knows, I like things kind of structured. I do like that, up to a point. Has anybody really listened to Paul's bass on Another Day? I think so. It also would be cool for them to put out Yellow Submarine on 4K UHD with Giles' mixes. With the U.S. Rubber Soul coming in the box set, I guess they're not going to finish the U.S. vinyl albums. You never know. You never know. Then people will be whining and saying, I don't know, I bought the box set. of Rubber Soul. It had the U.S. Rubber Soul in there. Why do I need to buy the U.S. album separate? Jeez. But, opinions are like asshole. Everybody's got one, as this saying goes. Am I wrong if I say the Beatles will most definitely stand the test of time in 20 years, but not the solo stuff of the four of them, as great as they are? I guess that's fair. The Beatles will probably last longer and flourish more with generations to come in the eons in the future. And some of the solo stuff will, but probably not as much. I don't know what's going on in my throat. Oh, God. Some people put it down, but I've always loved Beatles for sale. I don't know why any Beatles album should be put down. The thing is, though, there are some that are better than others. All the Beatles albums are great. I always say, even something like the ones that get on the bottom, Beatles for Sale, sometimes Let It Be. Let It Be still has, 3 number one hits on it? Or something like that, I always say, even Let It Be has the title track, Let It Be, number one. It's got Get Back, number one on it, right? Excuse me. It's got Long and Winding Road, the big hit on number one. And even a song like Across the Universe, which wasn't a number one single or anything, but it's still a big Beatles song. There's 4 gems right there that any band would be happy to have adorn even their worst album. Best album, I said it backwards. Even their best album, So anyway. But something has to come in at the end. Something's got to be at the end. Magical Mystery Tour box set I crave for. Yeah. What's your opinion on Giles Martin's remix and remastering of All Things Must Pass? My personal thought was that he cleaned it up a little too much. Sir Frankie Crisp sounds ridiculous. Sorry, Scott. Put me in the very small camp that loves the remaster and remix of All Things Must Pass. But if I'm not mistaken, Giles Martin didn't do it. Giles Martin did not do the All Things Must Pass. I think it was Hicks. Am I right about that? Oh, help me out with this, guys. Paul Hicks? Well, I don't even know. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's not Giles Martin. I'm pretty damn sure. But I love it. I think that album was muddy as hell. Even George didn't like the sound of it when it came out first. Having said that, I like Phil Spector overall. I like Phil Spector's work, and I can listen to it. I still can enjoy the original 1970 mix and production of All Things Must Pass, but I do like the reissue. It's up there, J.D. Thompson. I think I'm getting the Rubber Soul 4 CD deluxe set and the 2 LP. Oh, the CD set and the 2 LP. I'm not a fan of these kind of big, heavy box sets with 4 LPs. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't think I'm going to get any of the LPs unless it's a gift, which won't happen. And there you go. Which copy of Rubber Soul will you get? Well, to start with, it's going to be the 4 CD deluxe box. Now the problem with that is I'd like to get the set with the extra posters in it, exclusive from the store. But it has to do with arrival time. If I pre-order that or order it pre-order or later, I'm not going to get it the day of release. There's a good chance I won't have it the day of release. And I want to have it the day of release to review, if not earlier. But I want to have it. So therefore, I can only buy it, in a store, and that won't have the posters in it. But anyway, I'm only really interested in the 4 CD box. Is the only one I want to get. That's not to say that I wouldn't get. I don't know. Would I get the 2L? I might get a 2LP vinyl. I might get the 2LP vinyl. Hey, 110 yesterday. Love it. Sounds great. Stay. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, Summer. Please. Please don't go anywhere. Don't go. I think Giles is just living on his dad's legend. They should get some new ears to produce these new mixes. Well, I agree with you. And people get mad when I say it. It's my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. This is my opinion. I don't think Giles is the best guy for the job. The reason they do it is because his name is G. Martin. He's another G. Martin. Giles Martin, George Giles and George and Martin. That's why he's the son of George Martin. That's the reason he's doing it. I've heard some mixes that I enjoy by Giles, and I heard some that I don't like at all. And that's how I feel about it. 50-50. Or even if I say 60-40, if I like 60% of his mixes better. If they ever put out Carnival of Light, people will probably say, what's this crap? I want my money back. Put it in the 99-cent bin. Well, the few people that have heard it say it's garbage. So, other than historical curiosity, it's really nothing really great to listen to. On another topic, I have seen 3 or 4 songs professionally filmed from George's Japanese tour. Why can't they put out the whole concert? Well, first of all, we don't know if the whole concert is professionally shot and filmed. I think it might be. I think the Royal Albert Hall in England, that show was done pretty well. I think it was done. But I don't know. Those clips you're talking about, the songs from George's Japan tour that are available, they're beautiful. They make you crave more. I've said for a long time now that I wish that was a project that I personally feel I wish the Harrison estate would start putting on the front burner. I wish they would consider doing a live in Japan tour video thing, a compilation, and put whatever songs you can get of George performing on there. And also there's press conferences and things and a lot of promotional stuff. You never know. You might get a yesterday and today box set. Who knows? Peter Boothroyd says the human race doesn't have another 20 years. It's looking closer and closer like that, really. Okay. That's interesting. Beatles for Sale is my favorite of all the pre-Rubber Soul albums. I love to hear that. Yeah, Babies in Black is look again. Beatles for Sale is a great album. It's just that when you're ranking the Beatles albums, what would you put on the list? If you were going to rank their albums, not counting Yellow Submarine, because Yellow Submarine just has a few new songs on it. But if we're talking about ranking the albums, something's got to go on the least favorite. Doesn't mean it's crap. Just means it's the least favorite. And Beatles for Sale would probably be near my least, and probably, I don't know, maybe Let It Be. I don't know. Yorkie Girl, welcome. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you for being here. My Sweet Lord, with George re-recording the vocals right before he passed, was so bad. I don't think it was bad at all, but it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary and not as good as the original, in my opinion. Okay, Magical Mystery Tour Deluxe box with the Blu-ray movie included. Sitting down here, I'm going to show you something that I have for Magical Mystery Tour. This is all. I think this is all they've done for it. Really, am I right? I mean, this came out in looks like 2012. Magical Mystery Tour. I mean, this would be nice to have a little box set like this, right? And let's see if I can do this, because I'm live here and I can't do it. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Take off camera, but hold on, because I'm not gonna botch this up for everybody to see. I don't even know how this thing opens. Holy cow! Okay, I screwed up. Now I'll put it back on. Shows you how long it's been since I opened it. Yeah, it's got one of these little yellow thingies. It opens up like that, right? There's a book. I'm going to try to. I'm afraid to put this down. Then you got the EP. the EP, which also has, the book in it. Right? And the records. I'm not going to show you the records. This is a standard EP. And what is this that's in there? I don't even know. The Blu-ray, a DVD and a Blu-ray. You got a DVD and a Blu-ray. All right? DVD and a Blu-ray. All right? And this is a nice little set. Now, something like this is cool. The only thing I would want is you have the EP is nice, just as this is nice, but I would like the songs to be, remastered for 2026 or remixed or remastered. It might even need a remixing, but whatever. Fixed, enhanced for 2026, 2027, whatever. And put something like this out. Now, the book, I'm going to show you the book as long as I have this out. Okay, as long as I have it out. Let's not waste this opportunity. Let's go through it. In fact, I think I know what one of my future videos is going to be. I'm going to do a future video about this, I think. All right. So this is nice. And of course, I'm going through this very quickly. I'm skipping a lot of pages. It's very nice. So, yeah, it's a nice piece. The only thing that's missing from here, from what I could see, are CDs, compact discs. That would be nice to have, So, what's going on? Winston O'Reggie. Okay, what's your favorite John Lennon solo album and why it's Walls and Bridges? I'm a little mixed up. I don't know. I'm going to stick with Imagine album. I think Imagine is in some ways John's best album. And of course, it's got the classic song Imagine on it. And it's a great album. The only thing about it is I think a lot of people, myself included, feel like it's kind of fatigued. Like we've heard a lot. We've heard all about the Imagine album for so long now. We're kind of like overdosed on it a little bit. I still think the first album, official album, studio album, John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, is probably his greatest masterpiece. But as I often say, it's not something I want to listen to very often because it's kind of grim. But it is a work of art, and in some ways, his best album. Walls and Bridges is my third favorite. So those three albums are my favorite. Imagine, Plastic Ono Band, and Walls and Bridges. There we go. I'm a summer guy too, and to that, Chip says, bah. I'm 75-25 on Giles. Most of the time you feel it's great. Okay. And they can also give us the isolated tracks so we can mix our own records. The big question is, when are we getting the Freddie and the Dreamers box set? Well, that's what I mean. All kinds of people get the box sets, Okay. Going to give Dungeon one or two more tries. Not now, though. Listening to the much better New Strokes album. Well, like I said, not everybody can love everything. You know what I mean? If you don't love it, you don't love it. What are you going to do? Okay. 4D man. Hello, 4D. 4D says, after moaning to Beatly Tone about unnecessary extras hiking the cost of Rubber Soul, I then pre-ordered the exclusive edition with everything in it, abandoning all reason and confusing Tone and myself. As long as you ordered it without leaving the house. That is the main thing. My bottom, aside from Yellow Submarine, would be With the Beatles. Well, you're somebody who loves Beatles for Sale and doesn't and puts With the Beatles on the bottom. Sometimes, for me, I say With the Beatles is my number one album. Sometimes I put With the Beatles at number one. I think With the Beatles is the album that is unfairly, underrated. That's my personal opinion. So we disagree. So as much as you want to go on and cry about Beatles for Sale being unfairly maligned, I have to say the same about With the Beatles. That also gets a low rating a lot. I guess they don't. I guess they don't like hardcore, hungry, primitive, raunchy, raw Beatles. Then in the early days, because that's the best. Oh, there's some covers on it. So, you know. Any guess as to why the Harrison estate is so slow in releasing things? None at all. Okay. That channel is a nice restoration of the Washington, D.C. 64 AI. What a shame about AI. But anyway, it is what it is. But, AI, then again, sometimes it's used for fun stuff. I know what people are thinking right now. Oh, sometimes you show AI things. Whatever. It's comedy. I'm doing comedy. I'm not trying to rearrange history. My favorite rankings: Meet the Beatles should be number one. My favorite. Well, I definitely love Meet the Beatles, and for the most part, all the U.S. albums as well. The Magical Mystery Tour Blu-ray has purple faces. Unacceptable. Magical Mystery Tour Laserdisc has a superior soundtrack. What is that Magical Mystery Tour package you have? It came out in 2012. Yeah. Nobody has thought about the fact, as far as I know, that Babies in Black is the first time the subtitle talk about death. Yeah, it's about, yeah, it might be the first time. I'm not sure. I have to think. But yeah, it's very, Babies in Black, aside from it being just a fine song, musically, and everything, it is. It says it's about a woman who wears black. And she won't give up her mourning dress. Really, she's dressed in black, even though her husband will never come back, or her man will never come back. I never liked George's re-recording of My Sweet Lord. He even changed some of the notes in the melody. Original studio recording is the only one I'll listen to. Have I met any of the Beatles? Nope, I have never met any of the Beatles. I came close to both Paul and Ringo, but I never formally met them, no. Beatles for Sale is greater than Let It Be. Okay. There you go. There's another fan of With the Beatles. I know my nephew loves With the Beatles. He plays that album regularly. The awesome thing about the way Giles mixed the White Album is we can hear lots of parts like a hidden guitar that we never heard before. Yeah, and Helter Skelter is ruined. You can't hear that chunky bass. That's really like lower. And at the end, when Ringo says, "I got blisters on my fingers," it's real quiet. When you hear "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," you have George moaning more than he ever did before, which I think is unnecessary. And I like, I like what he did to Cry Baby Cry. I like that Cry Baby Cry is a lot of people didn't like George's, not Cry Baby Cry. I'm sorry, not Cry Baby. I do like that version of Cry Baby Cry from Giles. But I'm talking about, oh man, long. Yeah, long. George Harrison's song. A lot of people didn't like the song, and since Giles' version, they like it. He made it more like upfront and louder, so you could hear it better. But the thing is, he also arguably took away some of the mystique about it, some of the creepy nature of it, ghostly nature of it. So so think about how it goes for you. Either you like it or you don't. Hello, Raymond. Meet the Beatles is my all-time best. I actually enjoy the American Yellow Submarine album. George Martin's orchestrations are wonderful. Yes, I think George Martin's wonderful. It's just that, It's not my favorite. My favorite Beatles album. There's something we agree on. You also love With the Beatles. Never got the criticism of it. Me either. The only thing I can imagine that they criticize about it is because they don't like that there were a lot of covers on it. Too bad. That's what the Beatles were doing, covers in freaking Germany and everything, you know? And they do them fabulously. And A Hard Day's Night is definitely worthwhile as a choice, as a favorite. A lot of people say A Hard Day's Night is their favorite. I've heard that too, and it's one of mine as well. Please Please Me was the best in terms of the early raw sound. With the Beatles, in my opinion, sounds stagnant compared to the other albums. I disagree with you completely. Thanks for the opinion. Please continue to offer your opinions, but we disagree. We'll have to agree to disagree. Yes, I did. True. I also met Pete Best. I didn't. Pete Best was a Beatles, so I met him. I know this. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you really mean that or not, but I do like that song though. By the way, Revolution is a good example. A good example of. Yeah, but then again, Revolution. The best way Revolution sounds is probably the mono version. Um, so a Revolution One. I'm sorry. See what I mean? Here, I got to read more carefully. Revolution One. Okay, Revolution One is so. Revolution One is one of the better songs. As I said, I feel that Giles Martin. Sometimes I like what he did. Revolution One. There's another opinion for you. Long, long, long. The quietest song to put on the album after Helter Skelter. While My Guitar Gently Weeps was Giles' biggest dud on the White Album. That and Across the Universe are my two least favorites of his mixes. Hard Day's Night is definitely the best album pre-Rubber Soul. I agree with this. The Hey Jude, well, I don't know about the best 45 they ever produced, but the Hey Jude Revolution 45 is the best. It's the best it sounds as far as I'm concerned. It's very, very well produced, and it rocks. Oh, I didn't know this. From The Sopranos, the character known as Big P, the word you can't say anymore because everybody, if you say the word, just say the word. This is the mere sound of the word is going to make everybody just fade away and turn into just dust, and they'll get a cardiac arrest. They'll go in the hospital. Their brain won't function anymore. They'll be brain dead. But anyway, he passed away today. Wow, that's sad. Um, I love A Taste of Honey too. I love A Taste of Honey. I do. I mean, this thing about like Please Please Me, who underrates these albums? Everybody loves the Beatles albums, but I don't know. I just here I am saying that, and I just got done saying With the Beatles is underrated. So, Beatles albums are all great. Just some of them are favorites, some are lesser favorites from some people. You know. Yeah, Big P. Yeah, exactly. The reason I did, by the way, I wasn't talking about you. The reason I didn't spell it out is because I already typed it and YouTube hid my comment. Well, I'll tell you something else. I'm glad they hid it because if you wrote it and they don't allow it, I don't agree with everything, all that censorship that people do these days. YouTube, there's a lot of stuff out there. I believe that should damn well be censored. It's not. They're censoring the crazy things these days. Yep, changes week to week or day by day. Exactly, the favorites. Yeah, but what I was saying about the words, yeah. The thing is, they get rid of certain words and then they like allow you to say other words that are just as bad or worse. I think, why is some things okay and some aren't? That's what I mean. That's all I mean by that. I don't know why you're asking. Am I having algorithm trouble with my channel? I'm not sure. Not that I know of, but what are you noticing? Just popped in and listening to the talk about Giles. They should have handed the catalog over to Peter Cobbin after the work he did on the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. Well, that's true. I always forget who did the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. The 1999, the one with the yellow submarine on a blue background cover. Yeah, that's that. Everybody loves that remixing. Everybody loves that job done on there. I love that song. I think it's a very powerful song, and it doesn't mean everything that some people out there think it means. It's pro women. It's not anti African American, and it's not anti woman. It's pro woman. It's a strong, balls to the wall song. Thank you, Stuart, for joining me. I appreciate your input. Thank you. If I was hired to run Apple, what would be my priorities? Well, for one thing, I would try to get the movie Help restored and put out again and get put in theaters if I could. That's the first thing. Help is being ignored. I suspect it's because of sensitivities and PC stuff. That's the first thing I would do. And the other thing I would do is I would want to put out all the remaining albums individually boxed and, all the features. And I would try to put out a live set, but, live video as well as audio, and really take the time to try to restore things and find the best sources and the best live performances. I think Apple listens to all the Beatles people and just turns the other way. It seems to me like sometimes they might be listening, actually. I think sometimes it seems like they're listening. Help is very funny. I love it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's what John said. Yeah. The Cobbin, I don't know if it's Coben or Cobbin. The Cobbin remix. The remix should be the standard Yellow Submarine album. Maybe expand it to double disc and include George Martin orchestrations. Very good. Very good. So if you're just joining me, cheers. Have some more water. Yummy. I'm having meatloaf for dinner tonight. For anybody that wants to know. Is there going to be a Planet of the Mayos movie stream this week? I plan on doing a movie stream on Monday. For those who don't know, over at my other channel, I have two channels. This is a good time to say. My channel here, Mr. Cinemayo below, is a movies, television, nostalgia, pop culture channel. And I do a movie discussion with the panel. I have a few friends on there, 4D Man, Tim Allen. We have Mellow Fellow now joins us a lot of times. And Tom Hunyadi, when he's able to. Tom Hunyadi's a regular over there. He's a regular, and sometimes he can make it, sometimes not. But every Monday we have a live movie stream, so please join us. And of course, you can also join Mayo Loves Mondays. That's about rants if I have about life in general, about retirement, about living life and trying to cope, life challenges, talking about dieting, and what I'm eating, and trying to get better in every which way. And of course, it also has the Joe and Danny show, the ever popular Joe and Danny show. And the Joe and Danny show we do Wednesday mornings live. And I don't know, we were pretty successful, Danny and I, doing a show on Thursday this past week. Well, that's this week, a few days ago. And I don't know, we might move it to Thursdays. So there you go. Yes, exactly. John played the cool guitars on "I Want You." Yeah, I know. Recently, I think they were talking about that on the Rick Beato show with Sean Lennon. Oh, okay. You made one yourself. Very good. Honestly, besides Milk and Honey, I'd consider all of Lennon's albums fantastic. I even like rock and roll. Yeah, there's not much when it comes to John. There's not much there, unfortunately. No, that's one thing I don't think you'll ever see. That's one thing I don't think you'll ever see because I generally, I don't really cook. A little bit here and there, like we all do, like, just as anybody does. I love A Taste of Honey. I just dislike the song A Taste of Honey. Yes, indeed. A lot of people are asking me about that. When am I going to do the next collector's show? I gotta do it. I don't know when. I'm trying to think of who would be on it, and if I do a collector's show, I don't want it just to be like this, where I come on here doing basically my own thing. I want it to be like talking about collecting specifically. As far as Fab Gab done, no, Fab Gab is not done at all. And Fab Gab, you have to understand too. Fab Gab used to be just ranking songs from Beatles and solo Beatles albums. Now Fab Gab is just any conversation about the Beatles, really. So, in that regard, the show I just did a couple of days ago? I did the show about a discussion on the upcoming Rubber Soul archive. Check it out if you haven't. It's a live one. That I'm going to eventually. I'm going to change the title of that to Fab Gab. It's a Fab Gab show. Anytime I have people on with me and we're talking Beatles or anything chattering about Beatles as a whole topic, that's a Fab Gab show. And I do have a couple of albums lined up for this year before the year's out. There are two solo albums I'm going to be doing the ranking shows on, where we take them and we rank our least favorite to most favorite songs on. And that's going to be this. So there's more Fab Gab coming this year. Over the years, I've made several albums out of Paul's B-sides. Yeah, that's always good, and that's one of my most wanted things. If I had the say and I was able to make decisions, I would want there to be if you want to call it cold cuts, whatever you want to call it. I would make the ultimate McCartney bonus tracks, B-sides, bonus tracks, extras kind of collection ever. I really hope they do that one day. You moved the Wednesday show to Thursday so that I couldn't say it's Whopper Wednesday. Well, I know you're kidding when you say that, but the truth is, I haven't even decided whether or not I'm really going to move it to Thursday or not. I haven't decided yet. And B, I don't care about the Whopper Wednesday thing. Just back from the pub. Enjoy your show without Danny. No, I welcome all opinions. So you're saying, please, Stephen, let me know. You basically like my show when it's me and there's no Danny on it. Is that what you mean? Some people love Danny and some don't, and some people love me and they don't. That's what makes the world go around. Yeah, Matthew Street and I in the early days, folks. Check it out if you haven't. It's worth it. Go over to my playlists. I really wish people would utilize the playlist feature. If you go into playlists on my main page and look at all the different categories there are, there's lots of videos, newer and older, much older that you might like. And I did a lot of album ranking, songs on album song rankings with Matthew Street, and he started with me. Yeah, I know, I know. I On my movie channel, I have I have a couple of autographs that I showed, celebrity autographs. Also, anything to do with movies, music, entertainment, collecting, nostalgia, that stuff. Do you think John would have continued making albums or music in general into his 80s had he lived? There's no way to know. There's just simply no way to know. He had the period where he wanted to take time off and then didn't want to do music. At the time he died, he said he was really into it. He was really into making music. He was really into making records, and he was looking forward to maybe going playing live. Uh, in the time he was killed. Yeah. The Rubber Soul discussion you did the other day. Are you going to do some of the other Beatles albums? One on the White Album and Abbey Road would be cool. Well, basically, I'm doing it because it was a new thing. It's a new thing that's coming out. So we talked about it. And if you don't know, check it out. It's still fresh. Go look at the live videos, and you'll see the Rubber Soul discussion on the live. And Norman Maslov joined us, which was a lot of fun too. He also joined the discussion. Tom and Yachty was there, and also Mark Zukhoff. He's a big fan and he knows a lot of stuff, and he's well spoken. Uh, you think the Rubber Soul edition should have made the American release optional? Well, the thing about that is maybe increase the price, including it. That's interesting. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If it wasn't included, some people would be pissed. The fact that it is included, some fans are pissed. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm happy it's in there, but not everybody is. Do you have that album with people and artists covering Paul's solo work? It's great. You talk about the art of McCartney? Yeah. Some of the songs on there, obviously, I like, and some of the covers I don't like. I'm sure Danny's watching the show now. If he's not watching it live, I'm sure he's watching it on replay. Danny is the best. He's an Italian New York caricature in the best way. Love Michelle Take One. You see, now I don't. Michelle Take One, for example, it's the same exact vocal. It's the same exact version that we got released. The exact released version, stripped down, and I think the bass isn't on it yet. It just didn't. It's just missing the guitar, bass guitar, I think. There you go. Kenny, yes, you're late to the show. We started 63 minutes ago, but better late than never. That Bela Lugosi Monsters book you have, yes, on my movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo, I talked about a book of Bela Lugosi, which a lot of it's becoming one of my most highest viewed videos over there. In fact, soon I think it's going to overtake. I think out of all my movie videos, I think this is going to be my most number one viewed video. And the author, Bill Fleck, got in touch with me, and I think somewhere down the line I'm going to try to get an interview with him. So I'm just saying, over at the movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo, subscribe if you haven't. I really think that I'm going to be talking to Bill Fleck about his book. Yes, Nova, Linda Harrison from Planet of the Apes. Yes, I met her in person a few times, and I got to do an interview with her at length that was never published. I have a cassette tape with a long interview with her. It's never been published. This is fair, I guess. As much as I love John, if he hadn't died, unless he quit smoking and got healthy, he probably would have been dead by now. He looked pretty gaunt. He was gaunt in 1980. I understand from his extreme macrobiotic diet. That's why the way he was eating was mainly why. But look, we have no way of knowing, but I have a feeling that he wouldn't have been around in his 80s. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Should try to get Patty Boyd on my show. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody today and saying Patty Boyd really doesn't have much to talk about, I guess, except obviously George. Well, no, that's just, scratch that. If I could go back a few seconds, of course she was there when the Beatles were there. She probably has a lot of anecdotes. She has her book out, she has her book out. But I don't think I would ever, I don't think I would ever have her on. Starting to watch Mazzy. He's great. Speaking of great, how about this guy? Dave Ghosty Wills. How do you say it? David Wills, right? I wonder how much of the studio chatter from the vocal overdub session for Think for Yourself they'll include in the box set. I have a lot of it on bootleg, but some of it may be un-PC these days. I've heard, I don't know where I heard, sometimes people in the know, it trickles down. I heard about 7 minutes. And if it's 7 minutes, I think it's fair to say that's about half of what's available. So Michelle Take One is a masterpiece. No gimmicks needed. Have you heard anything about the fest next year? All I've heard now from two sources is that apparently the fest for Beatles fans, now don't take me 100%, I'm just telling you, I saw in two places, or one place I saw and one place I heard, that yes, there's going to be, the fest is coming back in 2027. If that's the truth, I don't know when they're going to start talking about it. I don't know when they're going to start making tickets available, because we are. It's now August, right? They got to do it pretty soon. Now, I heard one of the sources was Mark Lapidus himself, who actually I saw somewhere a written text where he said in text, the fest will be coming back. It's just that he was working on a book. He's working on a book is what he said. That's the first thing I saw. I think it was him. It was his account, I think. I can't swear to it. And then somebody that I just saw who kind of is on the inside a little bit told me that he's going to be doing it again. That's what I hear. And we still don't know in what form that's going to take place. We don't know. We don't know, like, how, if they're going to change anything, which, again, they should change quite a few things about it, in my opinion, if they're going to. I don't like Guns N' Roses' version of Live and Let Die. I like it okay, but I much prefer Paul's. Michelle Take One is completely useless, a ripoff. Well, if that's how you feel. They still have to rank Venus and Mars on FabGab. I never did that, huh? Wow. Yeah, that's one I'm going to have to get to. Thank you. Thank you for making me think of it consciously. Absolutely, I agree. The Art of McCartney, definitely a hit or miss collection. Absolutely. Are you watching any movies tonight? Any film noir? No. I still want to settle in and watch The Substance. Maybe I'll try to get that on soon. With Demi Moore. I would like to get The Substance on. I agree with Michelle. It's just missing bass and solo guitar. Underwhelming. Are you interested in seeing the Robert Eggers new horror film Werewolf later this year? I guess the only way I could say is I don't have any interest, but if I hear enough about it that people are talking about it, they're saying this is really good. This is getting, good ratings and people are enjoying it, think it's a good one, then I'll see it. I just don't care. Just like I didn't care about that Frankenstein film that was out. And, I didn't like the Eggers redo of Nosferatu either. I didn't like that. It's the harmony on Take One. If Danny was president, we'd have world peace within 2 weeks. Danny for president? Ha, 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 ha. Hello, Daniel. What's going on, Mr. Was it Mr. Ed or Mr. D? Anyway, I hate to criticize what a great event it is that Rubber Soul is getting released, but I agree with you, Joe. Listening to Michelle take one was kind of bland, as it's just the recording. Well, that's the thing. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I guess I'd rather have it than nothing. I think Patty's sister was the Jennifer in Donovan's song Juniper. I think I heard that too. Hello, Kimba. What's going on? Greetings. Patty recently did an interview on Chris O'Dell's YouTube channel. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for that information. Check it out, all you Patty fans. A book about the fest would be something I would want to buy. Yeah, that'd have to be interesting, I would think. A very interesting idea. I'd like to see a really well done Fest for Beatles fans, aka Beatle Fest, documentary over the decades. If they have a lot of footage, I don't like Guns N' Roses in general. I don't know why people love them so much. Axl Rose has the most annoying voice, in my opinion. I like them. I'm not wild about them, but did I ever win a door prize? I don't think I ever did, but in all fairness, I rarely put my name in for a door prize. I usually don't even bother putting my name in, so how could I win? Crazy, all this new material from Paul, Ringo, and the Beatles. Rubber Soul box set coming out, and Beatles Fest takes a year off. It would have been, I see what you're saying. Crazy, all this new material, and Beatles Fest takes a year off. It would have been a great discussion at the fest in Chicago. I hear you. I have not seen Highwaymen and Bonnie and Clyde and all that. No, I haven't. Did you like any of the Godzilla or King Kong movies that have come out in the past few years? Well, here's the thing. They had the first one called Godzilla versus Kong. Never saw it. I actually have it, and I've never seen it. Then they had another Godzilla and Kong together, I think. Now, the one that I hated, there was one that I did a review of, and I hated it. And it was I think it was the most recent one. And then talking about the Empire, Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. I despised that movie. Now, I have to say, though, the young woman, I think she was 18 or 19, the Asian woman has just died. She was in that movie. I think she was in more than one movie. She passed away. I don't know. I think she might have been in an accident or something. Very sad. But I did not like the movie, the Empire one. Hated it. If you want to see my movie channel, it's on there in all its negative glory. So look at it. Okay, Marcus says, audiophiles say the Magical Mystery Tour German pressing is the one to get. It has to do with True Stereo versus the phony stereo from Capitol. And I agree, Magical Mystery Tour, the German pressing, the Horzu pressing is an essential record for anyone who's a Beatles fan and collects records. If you have records and you want to listen to them and you want to get the best pressing, that's the one to seek out. Okay, I just came back from Goodwill with an original CD pressing a RAM for $1, so that's cool. $1, can't go wrong with $1. John Alelo says, I believe that Michelle Take One is better than the original for me. That's great. That's why you put stuff out and some people like it and some people don't. Some people prefer it. That's why there's different opinions. Everybody's got a different view. I'd rather have Rubber Soul box set than not. It's not perfect, but I'm not complaining, although I already did. It's funny because, I said originally, now that we've got it, everybody's going to complain about it. First, they were complaining because we weren't getting a Rubber Soul box. Now we're getting it, and everybody's complaining. Having said that, I'm starting to think it's kind of a disappointment. But what are you going to do? It is what it is. If there's only backing instrumental tracks for the most part, then that's mostly what you're going to get. What are you going to do? There's only so much you could do. I know you hate to hear this, Joe, but I saw footage of the actors recreating the Shea Stadium performance in '65 for those biopics. It looked very accurate. The singing sounded very good. I don't mind hearing it. First of all, I like hearing if it looks good and sounds accurate, all that looks authentic. That makes me feel good. I like hearing that. The only thing I say I hate to hear, I guess, is it's kind of early to talk about it. It's not coming out for another couple of years. Those movies. That's the only reason. Did you save the Beatlefest booklets with all the events? Yes, I have a lot of Beatlefest booklets, ones that I attended, and even some Beatlefest program books that I did not attend. Yeah, well, the new Godzilla movie coming out is called Godzilla -1. The last one that was out was Godzilla -0, I think it was, and it was fabulous. It was one of the all-time best Godzilla movies, and now they're putting a sequel to that out. Yes, and I'm a fan of the cheesy Japanese monster movies too. Thoughts on Godzilla 2014 with Bryan Cranston? I did not care for it. I don't like the Americanized Godzilla movies. I leave Godzilla to the Japanese. I prefer when Godzilla is evil versus good. The problem with that is, even though people like a good, evil, monstrous Godzilla, it's only so much it could do. If the movie is just about Godzilla arrives on the shore, terrifies Tokyo, knocks down a bunch of cities, and the tanks try to take him out, it's a boring movie. You know, I think when you had Godzilla as a hero, a good guy, you could have more bad guys from the fight. And we're talking too much Godzilla here, if I can say. I don't mind this, but I don't want people that don't care about this stuff to be bored. This type of talk about Godzilla, anybody out there listening, and they want to talk about Godzilla, other horror movies or regular movies, non-horror movies, go over to my channel, Mr. Cinemayo, please. And you'll be glad you did, because there's lots of stuff over there that we talk about. And there it is. And hello to Noah. What's going on, Noah? I miss hearing I Am the Walrus with the 4-bar intro. That version seems to have been forgotten. I like the 4-bar intro. I always thought, and even more than that, what I prefer is the extra beat in between the words I'm crying and yellow matter custard. That, when it goes on a little longer. Ta-da. It always sounded to me the way the common version that we all know sounds like the record skips over. I'm crying. I'm yellow matter custard. It goes it goes over, skips. Yeah. In your opinion, do you think the Harrison camp is working on Concert for Bangladesh? I'm hoping that gets released. I've heard that's what's going to be coming. I wouldn't mind them doing that. And, if Bangladesh comes back remastered, the film especially, and the film comes out in a theater, I'll love to see it in the theater. But again, that's stuff we've had before, back there on these shelves up there, somewhere up here. Maybe that's it, that orange one. I don't know. I've got like a nice CD version of Bangladesh, and I don't play that anyway. When it comes to live shows, I'm more interested in like a visual live concert. I'd rather watch a live concert rather than listen to it in audio. Depends on the concert. I had the Magical Mystery Tour German pressing. I sold it, not realizing what I had. Cover on the German Mystery Tour isn't great, but yeah, I know it's supposed to be like amazing sounding. Yeah, I agree with you. At Fest for Beatles fans, have to lower their prices. Are they going to do it? I don't know. Michelle, Take One has got me back into the Beatles instead of the Stones. That's interesting. Okay. Shout out to the guy last week who asked about the Rubber Soul box before the news dropped 2 days later. On the Rubber Soul box, they should have included the Beatles 65 Shea Stadium concert. No. Just hearing Ed Sullivan introduce them, Here Are the Beatles, was worth the ticket. I'm sorry to disagree with you, John. I love you. But the thing is, no. The Shea Stadium concert is from August of 65. Rubber Soul didn't come out to the end of '65. They don't have, it has nothing to do with Rubber Soul. I would not like them to do that. I'm still hopeful that one day we're going to get a Shea Stadium concert and other concerts and done right. And I definitely, back to Godzilla for a minute, I definitely agree that Godzilla '98 is a travesty. Now, we talked about Godzilla being a good guy and a hero and this, that, and the other thing, and the Godzilla movies. And how in the world did I forget this clip when we're talking about Godzilla? Okay, there it is. Bangladesh was already re-released 15 years ago. Well, you could, just to play devil's advocate, we could say the same thing about Rubber Soul, and anything else. All these other Beatles things were reissued and released. Okay, just my opinion, but I think the sales of the Rubber Soul box set will determine if there will be. Oh, don't give me that, Elvin! Please don't give me that. A future for the rest of the deluxe. I've never agreed with that way of thinking, but you say it's a new Apple regime, so you never know. But I don't understand that logic when companies do that. They put out this and it doesn't sell well. Well, then we're not going to put any more out. How do you know the next one isn't going to be more popular? How do you know? How do you know that Rubber Soul? I would think in the case of the Beatles, of what remains, the albums that remain, Rubber Soul is probably is going to be the most interesting, the most desired, the better selling. It'll probably sell better than Beatles for Sale, for example. But when it comes to the Beatles, it shouldn't be about that, It should be about putting all of this stuff out, giving us all the remastered tracks, remixed tracks where needed, giving us a nice book that really chronicles the making of and all the events of the time and the studio and everything, giving us whatever they have, bonus stuff. The Beatles, that should be done for all of them. To sit there and say, well, gee, I don't know, this one didn't sell as much as we thought. Maybe we shouldn't put the other one out. I understand a business is business and marketing is marketing. But, you have to also think of history and think of, like, as I've said many times before, I mean, all the Zeppelin albums are out in special, right? I mean, are they any better than the Beatles? I mean, are you kidding? By the way, I like Led Zeppelin. I do. Penny Lane version has the 7-note flourish at the end. It's hardly ever heard anywhere anymore. Yeah, I don't like it that way. I mean, I'm glad it's not heard that much, honestly. My first fest was $18. I love a happy Godzilla. There you go. Godzilla doing the safety dance. Craig, hello again. Craig is one of the 2 autographs I've signed in my life. Craig wanted an autograph, believe it or not, and I sold him. I'm sorry, I didn't sell you one. God. I sent him. I was looking for the S word. I sent him one. He actually asked me to send him one, and I actually did. And then another guy asked me at a convention. But anyway, I love everyone's different opinions about Rubber Soul box set. And Michelle, take one. Exactly. It's strange, but every week a few of the viewers' comments don't show up on my screen. I don't know what's up with that either. I wish I could. I don't know. I don't know why. I think my first fest was $10. That's a long time ago. Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on the Paul McCartney album Press to Play, because Hands Across the Water did an episode on that. Press to Play is one of my least favorite Paul McCartney albums. It's down there with albums like Driving Rain, and it's down there with the cover album, the Russian album of oldies. Those are among my least favorite McCartney albums. And it's not because of the 80s production, I don't mind 80s production. I love 80s production. I used to go to the clubs, that. People watch me. I used to go to the clubs dancing to the 80s music. Modern English, I Melt With You, Der Kommissar, name anything from that period that was out. The hits, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. I love 80s production. I don't think the songs are particularly good on Press to Play, in my opinion. That doesn't mean all the songs aren't good. I like some of the songs. I like Only Love Remains, and I like a few others. A lot of you know this, and maybe this is the reason that Noah is asking me this, because he wants to see the clip. I don't know. But, in 2013, I had this to say about Press to Play.
Now, this album, I just can't take it.
Now, that was just for a laugh, because I actually had a mint copy of that in the shrink wrap. I have a mint copy of that. After I tore that album up, I said, "Don't worry, folks," and I showed you that I had a beautiful copy. And the reason I destroyed that album was because it had a skip in the track. The first track skipped, and you couldn't fix it no matter what you tried. So it was a garbage physical album anyway. But I was just having fun with it. These days, I say I don't dislike Press to Play now as much as I did back then. I feel better about it now than I did then. But again, like I said, with when they say about the same thing that they talk about with Beatles for Sale being like the lesser of the evil, evils and everything, something's got to go near the bottom. Something. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know this, John. Rubber Soul on Amazon is #1 on the CD sales album sales. A Blu-ray box set, top 6 Amazon 24 hours, I believe. Rubber Soul. Please, John, as I know you will, keep me informed on this, John. It could make it to #1. I slammed Press to Play when it came out. I just wrote to Ken Michaels to see if he still has my review from when it came out. Yep. There you go. Yep. That's that. I did that video tearing the album up in 2013. For the new Rubber Soul box, I think they should have done element style mixes like they did with John Lennon boxes instead of all the instrumentals. Any 15-year-old can make instrumentals with an app. Interestingly said, Craig. Thank you. Press to Play is another hit on this album. To some people, it'd be better with the skip. You get to hear less of the album. Okay, I was in Stop and Shop the other day, and Paul's let me roll it on the Muzak. Came on the Muzak. I have no real opinion on Press to Play, though, honestly. 91 watching and 22 likes. Come on, the likes help Joe's channel, so hit that like button. Thank you. I always forget. Please hit the like button, people. If you like my channel, if you like this, what you're watching, if you like me, and you want to help me, please hit the likes. It always does help. It helps the algorithm. The algorithm is what tells people what to recommend to watch and stuff like that. And I always add this part. If you're watching and you can't stand me and don't like me, fine. Don't hit it. But it was 55 years ago today that George did the concert for Bangladesh at Madison Square Garden. You know, here we are talking about Bangladesh, and I didn't even remember that today's August 1st. I mean, I remember at the beginning I said it, that it was August 1st, at the beginning of the show, but I didn't make the connection. I didn't remember. I'm glad you like that Press to Play ripping up the cover thing. It's all for fun, guys. It's all for fun. Yeah. Like I'll admit, I have not heard every Beatles solo album. Then he writes, though to be fair, Mikey hasn't either. Suit yourself, Mikey. I was not at I've never seen Billy Joel I like Billy Joel. I think a lot of people underrate him. He's a great singer-songwriter. Great songwriter, great singer, musician. A lot of good songs. I've never seen him live at his own show except when I went to see Paul. When was it? 2017 on Long Island, and Billy came up as a surprise guest at the end. Okay, do you think Universal was scared to release the Capitol stereo as a standalone because it might hurt the deluxe box set sales? I don't know. I don't know. The answer could be either yes or no. I don't know though. Yep, Bangladesh concert, August 1st, 1971, 2 shows. Alrighty, folks. What's the good word? What's the good word? What's on your so-called minds? You tell me what's on your so-called mind. I'll tell you what's on my so-called mind. Right now, not much. Not much right now. I think the biopics are a joke, but I'm an old fart. All right. We're at the 90-minute mark. The problem with Press to Play is that most, not all, of the songs aren't very melodic. And I know people praise Pretty Little Head as experimental, but it sounds like a Peter Gabriel B-side. I like Pretty Little Head, Ghosty. That's one of the tracks I like off it. Let's see what I like on there. Pretty Little Head. I like Only Love Remains. I like the single Press. Those are my favorite tracks on it. I don't care for Footprints. Everybody loves Footprints, Uh, I don't really like the album. By the way, Ghosty, I'd like to have you on one of my shows one day. I just got to think of a topic and think, I had you several years ago now where we talked about the Capitol albums a little bit. If I could think of a topic, I'd be honored to have you on again. I have a couple of albums that I'm going to be doing a ranking of, where you rank your least favorite song to the most favorite song. Well, I can always get in touch with you by Messenger. That's how we'll do it. But I'll see if you're interested in either one of those albums. And I still listen to your show. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I always say the name wrong, though, Ghosty. You could promote it here if you want, because I always forget it. The name of it, the Rock and Pop. What is it? I should know by now, shouldn't I? And I hate when I miss the gripe of the week, man. Sometimes my girlfriend and I were out, we get in the car. You should be doing the gripe of the week now. And, sometimes we even get 2 gripes of the week. But I think on your channel, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have like something where you have like a collection of your shows. I can't believe I'm so out of it right now. So this happens. This is one of my gripes of the week, when I can't remember things, and I'm like, I know the call letters. FDU, WFDU, FM, WFDU, 89.1. Ghosty Show. Okay, I was at Paul City Field show when Billy came out and performed. Billy Joel, yep. Yep. Is Press to Play better than Gone Troppo? That's interesting. That is an interesting question. If I had to, because Gone Troppo is one of my least favorite George albums too. I think I'd rather play Gone Troppo, honestly. I love the fact that we could all agree to disagree respectfully. I'd be happy to. And I was expecting you to say Talk More Talk was a favorite. Well, actually, I don't mind. I like the song Talk More Talk is okay. What I don't like is the spoken intro of that one. Before anybody says anything, I like sometimes I like spoken intros. I love the intro bit on the new McCartney album, when he does that. And I forgot the name of the song because, I'm tired. The first track, As You Lie There. Okay, but I don't like the spoken bit on Talk More Talk. Um, and by the way, Ghosty, I don't know what your situation is right now. But, you're also free to pop up on here. If you ever can get the hookup and you want, you can just come on here and join me. We can just talk to the commenters. We can do that. By the way, I'm really been getting in. I've always loved Herman's Hermits, but I'm really getting into Herman's Hermits more and more, folks. That's another thing. I love Peter Noon and Herman's Hermits. I really do. Do you own the Beatles Love album? Yeah, I do, but I never play it. Yeah, I've talked about why I don't like it. I like the George Martin things that he did with. I mean, like While My Guitar Gently Weeps with the strings on it, and so but I don't like the mashups. I don't like them. Simple as that. This is the best show ever today. That is. Uh, okay, looking forward to my next rant. Remember, folks, if you like my rant videos, my gripes that I do, they're on the other channel now. Please subscribe there if you haven't. I beg of you, if you're interested in the rants, because now I have it on the channel that is known as Mayo Loves Mondays. That's where the rants are now. That's a channel about life, about coping, about trying to get through retirement, enjoy yourself, try to do better. I'm going to tell everybody I've been doing really good with the weight loss, by the way. I have a weight loss show that I do on there, and I don't usually talk about it here. Did very good this past week. I couldn't believe it, really. Did really good this week. But of course, now that we're getting closer to the end of the week, it's funny how it fluctuates. It goes up because of water weight and stuff. But it's been a ridiculous week, and I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow. I usually do the weight loss show on Sundays if I'm going to do that over at Mayo Loves Mondays. There it is, the Vintage Rock and Pop Shop, and Charles Rosenet is on tomorrow to talk about the upcoming Monkeys convention. Yeah, I've had Charles Rosenet. I've interviewed him before. He's a good guy, very good guy, and boy, he gets around. It's amazing to me how Charles Rosenet is tireless. That guy does everything, all the time, always promoting stuff, always working. Have you ordered anything from the new Rubber Soul? I ordered it. No, I haven't. I moan about the instrumentals. There's almost nothing new, but I ordered the big vinyl box with the posters. I want the posters and I want the cards. That's the crazy thing. It's a crazy, but I can't order it because if I order it, I won't get it in time. I won't get it early enough if I order it. But the only way you could get it is by ordering it, not buying it in the store. So it's kind of messed up, really, to tell you the truth. Interesting that Rick Beato said he'll never get to interview Paul because of the publicist. Rick also said the same about Jagger because they have the same publicist. Hey, if you're out there, I'd love to interview you, Paul. I'll give you a fair shake. I'll even be fair about Press to Play. Yeah, I tear up the album when he's going to come on my show. Apologies if you actually did this, do this. But would you consider someday ranking the solo albums by all four, mixed together from worst to best overall? I know it'd be a ton of work. That's hard to do. How many albums are there? 2, 4, 6, 8. Are they like? It must be at least 70, 60, 70 albums or something. Gone Troppo was a contractually obligatory album. Yeah. Yeah, George didn't promote that. Didn't promote that at all. Well, thank you. I retired 4 years ago, but thank you very much, Craig. I've always loved the interactions between you and Kit on Talk More Talk. Have you thought of having her up as a guest sometime? Kit is always welcome. Kit O'Toole is welcome. No problems on my end. So yeah, and we used to like agree on a lot of things. Actually, we used to see eye to eye on some things that other people didn't, and vice versa. When it was released, I thought the Love album was interesting. I can't remember the last time I listened to it. Elvis has an album with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. I know. The Beach Boys, Carpenters. I believe the Beatles should try this with the original music. Do you? Absolutely not. Beatles should never be cheapened down to that, in my opinion. I had a great concert going week. This past Sunday night, I saw John Mellencamp and Rod Stewart last night at Jones Beach. Do you like either artist? I like Rod Stewart quite a bit. There's a lot of his material I like. And John Mellencamp, I remember loving that song, The Walls Came Down, Walls Crumbling Down. I love that song. I have the 45 from 1983. I like a few songs by him, but I'm not really a fan of Mellencamp. John Cougar Mellencamp, John Mellencamp Cougar, or whatever he is this week. I know I've heard this a lot of times. I should try to get Sean on the channel. I talked to him a little bit when I met him in person. We talked a little about it, and there's a possibility, I think, but I don't know if I'm going to, if he's willing. Let's see. Julian, I don't think I'd ever be able to get, honestly, and. Can I be on the Venus and Mars Fab Gap panel? No, I'm afraid not. Don't know you that well. All right. So I think are we getting to the end? Because we've got a lot of this thing really picked up in the last I don't know 15 minutes or so. Can you think of any Monkees songs where they harmonize mainly unison? I mean, I love the Monkees. I'm a Monkees fan, but I can't just like with the Beatles. I could think of things maybe about where they harmonize. I can't think of it. I think George was more interested in building his home in Hawaii than producing a good album when recording Gon Troppo, another hit or miss album. A lot of people these days like Gon Troppo. That's another one that's been getting a more reappraisal. I don't hate it, but it's could be my least favorite. What do I think of the prices? It is what it is, we always like things to be cheaper, Okay. Any more thoughts, folks? Because we've been going for a while, and I'm happy, but appreciate it, everybody. Good to hear from some of you. There was a lot of people here I don't usually hear from, which is also nice. I love my regulars; they're the best. You're the most supportive and the best here. But boy, it's always nice to hear new people that sometimes watch but don't comment. There's a Complete Sessions studio anthology bootleg from Japan that came out in 2004, 62 CDs. I hope one day they release the complete sessions from every album, like the Elvis FTD session. The Elvis FTD series is wonderful, wonderful. I have a ton of them, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Love Mystical one on Gon Troppo. What is on your healthy dinner menu tonight? I know meatloaf. I don't know salad or vegetables with it. I'll be getting the CD set and just the orange vinyl. Yeah, Target has an orange vinyl of Rubber Soul. I keep hearing about George having money issues, unlike the other Beatles. Was he a big spender? Lawsuits, films he produced, bombing? I think he ran into trouble with Handmade Films, his movie company. But yeah, he was always worried about the money. I had money problems. Yes, thank you. Well, everybody, I'm going to go now. It's been fun. It's always fun. I try to do this every Saturday, so I should be here next week, God willing and all. And thank you so much for the people who watched me here, the people who commented. Good to hear from Ghosty. Good to hear from all of you. And so the people here that don't usually comment. If you're out there watching this and you watch me and you don't comment, don't be shy. Comment. Let me know what you think. So, again, just to give you the rundown of what's happening. Tomorrow, Sunday, on my channel, I'm going to flash it to help you. Sunday afternoon, somewhere around 3 p.m. Eastern time, on the Mayo Loves Mondays channel, I may do the weight loss show. Talking about how I'm doing with that, which is doing pretty good. Okay. And that's on Sunday. Okay. Then on Monday, we switch over to Mr. Cinemayo, where I do my movie show. I do my movie show usually late afternoon over there, Eastern time. And we talk about everything with movies, television, whatever. We show things we bought, talk about movies we've seen. And your comments are always welcome. And then either Wednesday or Thursday, because we usually do it Wednesday, but I may switch to Thursdays. I haven't decided that yet, but Wednesday or Thursday morning this upcoming week, back to Mayo Loves Mondays for the Joe and Danny live show, where Danny and me talk. We're the 21st century odd couple. We're friends. We love each other. That's not just a cliche. I love Danny. He loves me. But boy, does he get under my skin. And I get under his. Don't kid yourself. But it's great. It's over at Mayo Loves Mondays. We talk about whatever, over at Mayo Loves Mondays. So thank you all for being here. Much appreciation. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're one of two people that have it. Thank you. Funny. All right, everybody. I'll talk soon. Cheers.